Okay, so since we got our jewel, Cortez is just about to kick us out. So yeah, I think it's implied that he. Oh wait, hold on. We've got Flavio somehow learned of our discovery before we've even like came back yet. So yeah, he tosses you out of there. Um, Man, that was rude.
It saves us a trip.
Yeah, that was rude. So yeah, you go out the back door, and so this was actually a little bit weird for me when I first played the game because I didn't really know what was going to happen. Because the status quo is after you beat the chapter, you go to the Bowser and Peach section.
Yeah.
But our battle was so intense, it started to crack the walls. So you know, you can't actually get out of the dungeon until after you beat the boss, though. So um, yeah, I think you use Bobbery to blow your way out. So,
Yay.
yeah,
Crack on the wall. Bomb.
yeah. John, you say that, and if maybe you wouldn't need so many renovations if you didn't follow that life policy. Just saying.
No, you see, my wall decided to bomb itself.
Right. And did your dog eat your homework too?
I don't have a dog.
Did that random possum eat your homework?
I got rid of it. Ate my homework too much.
Ah. And look at Mario waiting in line like a professional gentleman.
I'll never forget you until I leave. Then I'll forget you.
Yeah. So anyway, I believe you get kicked out right next to the Wacka. No, wait. Yeah, it's right next to the Wacka.
No.
Leave it alone. Jesus.
First you whack him on the head and then you blow him up.
Wait, what if you blow him up like 10 times? Does that still count?
Yeah, you can hurt him anyway. Like you can jump on him, you can whack him, you can blow him up. It doesn't. I think you can use Koops' shell. It really doesn't matter. I don't think I get any more Whack-A-Bumps after this point though, so I'm gonna leave the poor fucker alone. I mean, he doesn't deserve any more than that, but I do need those. I kind of need to save the world, so he can stand to donate a few delicious
That thing
Whack-A-Bumps.
is going to be a super boss in a future Mario RPG. I just feel it in my bones.
Well, he's in the first three Paper Mario games. I do not believe he's in Sticker Star because he didn't renew his contract in time. But you know you did say when we were doing the Nintendothon, you did say that there was unused tattle data for Waka hidden in the
Yeah.
game. So I think he was intended to be a boss fight at some point. I don't know like what his attacks would be or anything. But anyway, oh my gosh, we're being attacked. Yeah, shock horror.
Who could have seen this coming?
Uh,
It's Wacka, isn't it?
No, you just see a whole bunch of blue moles riding on a ship.
God, those guys have really shitty aim.
Yeah. So it's the X-Nuts. Oh. Who would have thought that Four Eyes ended up being a traitor? Oh no. So yeah, this is the second kind of half of the boss fight. Like it's just we've got the boss fight against Cortez, and then we also have an X-Nut encounter after that.
Hey, Four Eyes, it's dangerous up there.
Yeah. Oh well, nobody saw through his disguise, despite it being incredibly obvious. But he's actually Wonder Woman. I mean, Lord Crump. Yeah. So by running this voyage, he means standing around and not really doing an awful lot. So yeah. His cannon. He never actually brings his cannon into the range of the beach, though. So, he could just stand there and wait for him to run out of ammo. But, that would be the logical thing to do. So, we're kind of, yeah. So John, do you happen to know when in Chapter 5 the speedrun glitch can happen? Because this is also the point where Flavio joins our party again. So it's got to be either here or at the beginning of the chapter where you...
I'd have to look up the glitch one more time.
Yeah.
And if I can't find anything before this part's end, then you can see exactly what we're talking about by looking at I want to say it was the Summer Games Done Quick of last year,
Yeah.
where they play Paper Mario Thousand Year Door.
Yeah.
You can see the glitch in all of its glory there.
Yeah.
After you get past all of the ticking.
Yeah. But it has to act. There's only 2 points in the game where they would have to have it activate, because it's either at this point or at the point earlier where you're getting Flavio over to the other side of the key. And basically what would have to happen is that you skip a point where the game checks to have Flavio removed from your party, essentially. So I can't think of any other time, unless if it's just like some random ass glitch which just randomly puts Flavio in the party for some other reason. I've never actually watched the speedrun myself, though. I've only ever seen like clips or GIFs and stuff. And here we find a little bit more backstory. Again, I think they mentioned Cortez in the story on the roof. Like, I think Cortez stole one of the crystal stars from one of the heroes from earlier in the game. So Cortez is like a 1,000-year-old spirit, and I believe it's like Flavio's ancestors stole the pirate gem from him, who he probably stole from someone else. So yeah,
that's generally how it works.
Yeah, so the pirate gem allows Cortez's ship to move again because magic. So yeah. And I like that he just spends the entire time making fun of Flavio, because it's just like a perfect like punching bag, and it's great. So he also,
hence the pinata.
Yeah, he's also relatively, I don't want to say badass, but he's not a complete dick, I think is the thing, because he does say that he's the leader, so he has to do it even though he's scared out of his mind. And he does actually do a relatively convincing bluff here, where he says, if you don't help us, I'll have Mario trounce you again and then I'll throw it into the ocean. So, not for nothing, he is actually relatively competent too. He's just also, I think he's a more nuanced character than you would initially believe, and I like that they put those details even into one chapter NPCs who we're not going to see much again after this point. So, yeah. So anyway, the upcoming scene I think is one of the most badass ones in the game. So I'm gonna let it speak for itself.
So we've just unleashed a terrible ghost pirate on the Seven Seas in order to save our own necks.
Actually, he ends up being grateful, so all he does is become the ferryman between Keyhall Key and Rogueport from the rest of the game. Because...
Okay.
Yeah. Because he's just...
Wasn't he just talking about wreaking havoc?
Yeah, but there's not really an awful lot that you can wreak havoc with when you don't have arms. So, yeah. Anyway, I love this upcoming scene. It's also like, again, they don't play up the paper aspects too much in Thousand Year Door, aside from a few select scenes. But I do like this where they like rip through the background. I think that's really cool. And then we get naval battles are just awesome. They're on like.
It was the only thing worthwhile in that Pirates of the Caribbean sequel.
Which one specifically?
Whichever one had the stormy one.
Oh, that was Pirates 3, I think. Pirates 3 was always really lame though, because they build up the Kraken in Pirates 2 as this like badass thing that they're gonna have to kill in the third movie, and then they just kill it off screen. Like, come on, dude. Like, that was the one thing we were looking forward to in this movie, and they fucked it up. So, yeah.
Reminds me of Smaug in Hobbit 3.
Well, I never actually saw Hobbit 3 because I was so bored with 1 and 2.
Smaug was always killed off screen. He flies over and attacks the town, and some guy shoots an arrow through a hole in his scales that Bilbo just happened to notice, and that's how Smaug died.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they build him up in the entirety of the second movie, and then he just dies 5 minutes into the third one.
Yeah. I never saw the third one because the first and second one were really goddamn boring. So
nothing happens in the third one.
Well, that's because they took a book that was shorter than the first Lord of the Rings book and tried to make it into a trilogy of movies just as long as all 3 Lord of the Rings movies. Do you want to know the difference between the Hobbit movies and the Lord of the Rings movies? In the Lord of the Rings movies, they actually cut a lot of shit.
Yeah, they cut what was it? Tom
Bombadil.
Tom
Bombadil. They cut the stuff that happens at the end in the Shire.
Well, from what I've heard, the stuff that happens at the end in the Shire was kind of like pace breaking, because you had already beaten the bad guy, and then you have to go like save the Shire again. Like that seemed kind of redundant.
It was an anticlimax, but it really would not have worked in a movie
Yeah.
because of the amount of time that you have for the movie to run.
Yeah. I think isn't also the beginning of Fellowship just not Bilbo, Frodo trying to buy a house, too.
I don't think
I
so.
might be thinking of something else. I don't remember.
Well, the beginning, there's like the whole birthday thing. Oh wait, yeah, there's this big section while Frodo is trying to leave the Shire where he's setting his affairs in order.
Okay, that's probably what I'm thinking. I've never actually read the book, so I'm going off of things I've heard from other people who have.
Yeah, in the movie, Frodo just sort of leaves in a hurry. Yeah, he like leaves in a frantic hurry.
Yeah, and the time spent between Gandalf leaving the birthday party and coming back is like instantaneous in the movie, and it's like 2 years in the book.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and that's what makes the Lord of the Rings movies work, is they made adjustments to, suit the story to the pace of a movie, as opposed to what they did in The Hobbit, which is basically, Peter Jackson doing that thing where stuff just takes too fucking long.
Yeah, well, Peter Jackson, they also can't do a Silmarillion is how it's pronounced. They can't do it because of specific rights, so that was also Peter Jackson wanting to do extended universe shit. I know it's not called extended universe, that's Star Wars, but you know what I'm talking about.
The lore and whatnot.
Yeah. So yeah, the Lord Crump fight is actually not that hard. Cortez is a lot harder, but I do think that it's a cool kind of thing where you have a second boss after the main boss. That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Oh, I found the title entry on the deleted Wacka fight.
Oh. What did they...
let me see here. It says it's from the original Paper Mario.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought it was.
Alright, this is Wacka. That bump on his head looks like a donut hole. You probably shouldn't have hit him so much. He looks a little peeved. So I guess the original concept was that if you hit it too many times, he gets angry.
Yeah.
And it fights you.
Yeah.
There you go. That should be a super boss in like later Paper Marios. Hit it too many times, and there you go. Hardest boss in the game.
It probably should be the hardest boss in the game. Also, I tried to gulp an entire army of X-Nauts. I probably should have thought that didn't work, but you can gulp some goddamn ridiculous shit with Yoshi, so...
yeah.
You
see the shit that comes out of Yoshi's ass in New Yoshi's Island? Or Yoshi's New Island?
Oh, you mean like the gigantic metal?
Yeah, the giant egg. That comes out of his ass.
Not just... not
appear out of thin air.
Not the giant... Not just the giant egg, the giant metal egg. That allows you to stay underwater. That shit, like, ow. Like, the fog is one of the more annoying stage hazards that can happen because it'll cause certain attacks to randomly miss. And sometimes that can help you, but a lot of the time it goes against you just as easily. So it's usually like I've just missed a handful of attacks.
How does an explosion miss thanks to fog?
I don't know, but thankfully Bobbery's explosion will also almost always get rid of the fog, at least temporarily. So that's why I brought him out. It's good for dissipating it for at least a handful of turns. So yeah. Also, Lord Crump's attack is really easy to super guard for some reason. I have no idea why, but it is.
It's slow, and it looks like it's a one-trick pony until he decides to use it the X-Nauts.
Yeah. Also, I'm wasting time here. Don't bother killing the X-Nauts, because Lord Crump will just summon more on the turn they're killed. Because, like, watch, he's gonna... Well, I think what happened... No, wait, he summons more now. Okay, so you basically just go one turn without their attack. So the time spent killing them is time spent killing Lord Crump, which will just get the fight over quicker. So, yeah. Also, I'm using one of the Wacka Bumps right away because I'm not as stingy with them as I am in the original Paper Mario. So, yeah. Cool.
Mm.
Yeah.
Has a distinct pus-like flavor.
Like Yoshi cares. Honestly, with a tongue shaped like that, it probably doesn't have very many taste buds. Yeah, science, bitch.
I'm pretty sure Yoshi just swallows them before he even has a chance to taste them.
Well, the way Yoshi eats...
Yeah, does a Yoshi chew?
I don't think Yoshi's chew. Because if you spit out an enemy, then they come back out whole. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was I gonna?
BrainScratch Commentaries asking the serious questions.
Well, to be honest, the only Mario character who's been given a canon physiology is Wario. Believe it or not, in the Wario World, manual, they have like a biological outline of Wario. So yeah, we have no idea what the hell makes up a Yoshi. And I'm not going to be dissecting one of those guys anytime soon. So yeah.
Oh, you madman.
Yeah, so anyway, we're finishing things off with Earth Tremor. Oh, actually...
Just because?
Yeah. Honestly, like, I had forgotten that Lord Crump has the same amount of HP that Cortez has. Because, John, you were right, it was 3 forms. So Cortez has 60 HP, and Lord Crump also has 60 HP, so they're both, I think, equal boss... I love that the X-Naught thing just goes up normally. Like they don't get it. So they both have the same amount of HP. I just think that Lord Crump's a little bit easier to deal with than Cortez. So yeah, his attacks aren't as hard to defend against, and I think that they do less damage overall than Cortez. So he's not as bad to deal with. But yeah, that's the end of Chapter 5, everybody.
Hooray.
Yeah. So,
Where were the fireballs at?
I don't know. The fireballs, no, basically what was...
Okay, who's the guy in the background who was just shouting, "Eat seaweed"?
You know...
While everyone else was shouting, "Congratulations."
You know, maybe he just really likes the taste of seaweed. Like, because, you know, some places do eat seaweed, like, for food, so... Yeah.
Yeah!
Okay.